Hello, I am Giancarlo.
How you doing, Giancarlo? Hello, everybody. My name is Kyle Magavero. I did serve the military, the Army, from 2007 to 2005. Sorry, gotta get out math. Yeah, I served in. I went to Iraq for 15 months from '08 to '09. Part of my duty for my 4 years active. I did do 4 years active military, and then after my 4 years, I did 4 years National Guard. So just to finish up my career with my my Army life.
So what would be the reason you joined the military?
Well, ultimately, I was looking for better opportunities. Nowadays it's really hard to get a job or just to kind of pursue your career. It was really tough for me, and I at the time, my senior year, it was 9/11, and as all Americans everybody was affected by it, and I felt like I could serve my country.
That's good. So when you first joined the military, what was your training like?
My training, well, it's just like the movies. They yell at you, scream at you, cuss, call you all kinds of names. But I liked it. It's just motivation. The boot camp was it's not easy, but throughout my whole life I was active with football, so I was always into sports and conditioning, so I felt like it was a little bit easier for me than others. I was still a big guy because I was a lineman in high school, but I definitely got a lot faster, and the military made me a lot faster because I had to be. I had no choice. I was owned by the government, so Uncle Sam, so.
And what were some of your experience and maybe some stories about you and your friends in the Army?
Oh, man. Well, it's nothing but great experience. The experience is lifelong, especially your buddies. One of your buddy, the first guy you meet, the first guy you train with, that's your battle buddy. So everybody around you is your battle buddy, and it's that family, that comfort as knowing each other. We got each other's back, no matter what, no matter where. It's a good feeling, and still today I still have contact to almost 90% of them since basic training.
So what would be a punishment if, let's say, someone were to disrespect or not listen to whoever was in charge?
Everybody would be punished, not just one soldier. Everybody. And the funny thing is, me being like being physical throughout my whole life with football and sports, I was always acting a fool and getting people in trouble. And we in the military, we called it smoked. You get smoked, so they'll smoke you for an hour. It's smoking is push-ups, sit-ups, sit in the squat position for 20 minutes, do leg lifts, do overhead arm claps. They'll do everything to make you hurt, for sure. But punishments, I took it as, yeah, it's a punishment, but it's only going to make you stronger and better. So that's why I would mess with everybody, and everybody get mad at me, but I'm like, you're going to get stronger out of this, So it turned out to be a good thing in the long run.
So moving forward, what was your job in the military?
My job, my MOS was, it was 21 Echo, which is a heavy equipment operator. After my basic training, I did a full, I think it was 5 weeks of training. I did 5 different heavy equipment, like a scraper, loader, dozer, grader, and excavator, and actually a dump truck, not excavator. Each equipment was a week long, so it was 5 weeks. And it was a good experience. A lot of hands-on, just getting to know the equipment and being able to operate it proficient. You know.
How did you feel transitioning from basic training to your active duty?
Well, it's a whole different experience because then I came to my main unit, which is Fort Leonard Wood, and I was attached to a triple nickel, which is an engineer battalion, and that's pretty much the big dogs. It's the real thing, and that's when the life starts as a soldier. You basically take what you train and know, and bring it to your active duty station. Live there. You know, they provide you food, everything you need, anything you need. It's very different because in basic training they're tough and they're assholes, and then in active duty, when you get they're even bigger assholes. So you think you get away from the assholes, but they never get away. So you just gotta kind of just maintain your as a soldier, like stay professional, and don't ever be late, or else you're gonna get smoked even worse and look bad, or sometimes they'll even try to take your rank. So, but it was a whole nother level of experience, and it's actually, those are all the buddies who I was gonna go to war with as we were getting ready to go to Iraq for 15 months.
So speaking of going to Iraq for this amount of time, what were your experiences there?
Stay alive. It's not a good feeling anytime. It's hard not to feel that way, but like to be like always. Basically, the way I felt, because I was a gunner and a driver, and then when I get to the spot, I jump out and operate the equipment in the middle of the city, you know, and they still all want to kill us. Like, not everybody. I remember missions, we American soldiers, we'd always buy a bunch of candy and food. And you'd be like, why are we doing this? We would throw candy out to the kids and food, and just give them a good warm feeling, because the kids don't know. The kids are only they do what their parents tell them, but sometimes the kids are the ones that are throwing grenades at us, you know, because they just hate. Their parents would say, hey, these are bad guys, and this is what you're going to do, you know, unfortunately, you know, and kids don't know right from wrong, you know, at that age, and that's why sometimes innocent people, you know, well, not really innocent, because, you know, it's either kill or be killed, you know, and I definitely don't want to be killed, so I'm going to kill somebody. You know, so you have that state of mind for anybody, a woman, kid, whatever it is. But we always give people the benefit of the doubt. There's always rules of engagement. If you get shot at, then feel free to shoot back, definitely. And if you have positive identification, then for sure, just no asking, just go ahead and let loose.
So do you have any stories about being in Iraq? Anything that happened?
Oh yeah. So I got tons of stories, but there's one good story. It's crappy, but we have no choice. When a mission comes down, it's a direct order, and we must do it. If not, then, you know, we're all gonna get in trouble. So since we're all engineers and we're equipment operators, we built this FOB, which is a forward operating base, on the border of Iraq and Iran, and it was to help to stop caches, which is dump trucks full of IEDs, bombs, mortars, rockets. And we'll catch them all the time. Like, we'll just stop them, and we'll find like millions of dollars of caches, and like. So we built this we built this fob right on the border of Iran, and Iraq's perfectly straight, flat, and then Iran, you could tell because the mountains occur, and you're like, oh, there's Iran. You could tell, and those guys are just as crazy because all day long they're blowing up stuff, testing stuff, and just like trying to push our buttons, but we're not going to engage. That's a whole nother war. We don't want that to happen. But we did sneak our way through there one time, and it was pretty interesting because we couldn't engage on anybody. They had bombs laying out in the middle of the road, and we're just driving by it, thinking like, all right, everybody get down. Like, you don't know if it's gonna blow up or not, so always be safe than sorry. But we couldn't do nothing back because we weren't supposed to go, and we we snuck our way through there. It was a quicker route to where we needed to be. And a bunch of colonels and generals and majors said it was in charge of the mission. So, if anybody's getting in trouble, it's the majors, not us. We just do what we're told. So that was pretty interesting experience. And it was like 9 days. We had water bottles for showers, and it was cold. Believe it or not, it was cold as shit. And that water, it was like 2 big water bottles. That's what we're taking showers with. It was freezing cold, but you're so dirty, and it's all dirt. There's nothing else but dirt in Iraq, and you just take the best for it. Try to stay clean as you can.
How did your mentality change between your training during combat and your post-service life?
Well, I think what changed me the most, boot camp and the training makes you become a man, all right, or a woman, like kind of, like, how they say, like, oh, some a bad kid, a little badass kid comes in, he's a troublemaker, but he comes out, he's like a man, he respects everybody. That's the man that it brings you out of, because you work your ass off to get that way, and to feel that pride as a soldier, And what was the second part of the question?
You're like in your combat, like the transition.
Oh, okay. Well, the biggest change in my life was, of course, the war, because consistently, like, we'll be sleeping, and you'll hear these loud sirens, and you can't sleep through them for sure, because it's super loud, and then you'll just hear mortars coming in, boom, boom, and just kind of like to have almost be at your life at risk for like the whole time you're there, and coming back to the civilian life, or even coming back to main base to be, finish up the time or your duty, or continue on to be a soldier. It's a whole different game change. It's like you honestly see people, like, you see people doing stupid things, and you get even more mad. Like, why are these people doing? Like me, I don't watch the news, because then I just start throwing stuff at my TV, or But it just bothers me, and it's like, it's tough. Like at the beginning, because when you're driving through Iraq, you're consistently looking for bombs no matter what, because if you don't spot it, it's gonna hit you with it. So, and I've been hit twice. One was really close, and the other one was kind of off in the distance. But just going through that kind of life-changing experience, it will definitely change your output and your opinion on like the civilian life, because like as you guys, for instance, you guys haven't experienced it, you guys see movies, but when you actually witness it, then it's like all right, it makes you appreciate it more, and it makes you like kind of a better person for your country, because at first you're like, no one, just like, I wasn't like, yay USA before I came in. I was just like, all right, I love my country, but let me serve it. But now I'm just like, all right, this is our country. We got to stand for our country, for all the freedom of the people who died for us, you know, who died for us to get this freedom as our country, you know, and that outlook, it's just amazing, you know, and a lot of people did sacrifice their lives to get us this freedom, you know.
So having gone through all of this, what would be your mindset now that when you left Iraq?
When I left, my mindset. Well, I was still high on alert. I did have a couple, but one of my best friends died out there. He actually died in my arms, but that was the mission, and his Humvee got cut in half, and unfortunately he was a gunner and he got ejected from it. And just kind of like, even before the military, I worked for Kaiser too, and I was a transporter, and I used to take dead bodies to the morgue when they pass away, and so I was used to like seeing dead bodies, or like, and not letting it affect me. But when it was my buddy, it's a whole different change and like experience. It's something you'll never forget, you know. The whole experience, yeah. But it's still like it still affects me today, every day, or you know, that's part of like PTSD. Like I have that, but I would have trouble sleeping. I want to sleep, or when I do sleep, I'll have dreams of like my family getting attacked, and I'll wake up really pissed, or I'll wake up ready to go kill or something, you know. And it's kind of hard to, eventually you get over it, but it's still hard. It's forever, you know. You'll never forget that, and it'll always be around, because once you kind of like forget about it a little bit, there's always movies, there's always news, there's always everything, the internet, that just reminds you just back to normal. So it's like, that's why it'll never leave you as a soldier.
What are some of America's foreign policies in Iraq, and what were your thoughts on those?
Well, first off, it was great, because basically, if you see someone with a gun, you're gonna shoot them. When the policies came in, basically through the time of war, throughout the years, as it got a little bit better and better and better, what the U.S., what we try to do is basically give the civil back to their Iraq, give it back to their country, and we would train, you know, Iraqi soldiers to do the same job we did, you know. And the policies it's kind of like, first it was like shoot to kill, don't ask any questions, and always shoot the cameraman first, because if you shoot the cameraman, then there's going to be no clip on you, so you're going to be okay. It was a little military joke, but a true joke anyways. But after that, the kind of laws came in, and we had to abide by them, which is okay. But then they started taking our main heavy artillery, like a 50 cal, for instance, and the 203, which is a Mark 9. And which a Mark 9 is a 203, which is a rocket launcher, the little rocket launcher. But it's fully automatic, so it's boom, 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 and you're just blowing up a whole mountain. So if you mountain, or wherever the hell the enemy is at. So before, with the Mark 19, we see enemy, the guy's toasted. He's history. You can't even find him anymore, because you just blew up the whole area. And through time, we couldn't use the Mark 19 because it's too overpowered, and it was just there's no questions with the Mark 19. Like, you're not gonna go question the guy. You just shot at with the Mark 19. And also the 50 cal. The 50 cal, they say we cannot shoot enemy with the 50 cal, but you must shoot at their weapons they're holding. So we always say we had a bad shot, and we killed them. It's like, bad shot, you can't control your shots. Anyways, a 50 cal would just disintegrate a body anyways if it gets near you. But it's kind of like saying the policies is kind of like, all right, if you do wrong, you're gonna have to get punished by the Iraqi laws, or maybe even go to jail. Which is like, well, hey, like I'm helping your country. Like, why am I gonna go to jail for like someone's trying to kill me? I'm gonna try to kill him back, you know. So it's pros and cons, but I understand. You know, we're just trying to give them their country back and let them run it themselves. So when we do leave, as we did, you know.
So how was life like when you returned home?
Life is life always goes on. I always got to stay positive about it. There was good benefits out of the military that after, for instance, the first year of basic training, I put in for the GI Bill. So they take $100 a month for only a year into the GI Bill, and that benefited me a lot because the GI Bill, I went to school full time, and they paid me $3,000 a month just to go to school full time, and that was the benefit of me getting my education and getting paid like if I was a full time employee, but I was getting paid to go to school. So that benefited me tremendously. I got an associate's degree out of it in psychology. And also, if I didn't get to use it, my wife or any of my children could use it, so I could pass it along down my family to my close ones, my daughter, son, or wife.
So what are your views on the military today?
Well, always pro-military, you know, because I've served myself. I can't disagree with them. You know, the strongest and the best military in the world. All branches. I was Army, Marines, Navy, you name it. We're the best, no matter what. And it's the types of soldiers that you could be like for Navy SEALs, Rangers. You know, this goes on. It's just incredible. Those guys, just amazing. The stuff they go through is a whole another level of military experience and life and death, and just how to survive on your own with a stick and one leaf for a month, you know, stuff like that. But definitely, we are the best country, and we do have our own freedom, and it's going to stay that way, you know, and hopefully nothing too crazy comes our way. But other than that, we're definitely protected with allies, and we're definitely the strongest country in the military in the world.
So how do you feel about all these big countries having nuclear weapons?
Well, it's kind of ridiculous because there's really enough nuclear bombs to blow up this earth plenty of times. So where's that going to lead us? Nowhere. You know, that they say the next World War is going to be the last war ever because everybody's nuclear war is going to end it. Which hopefully doesn't go that route. But honestly, if a nuclear warhead was to head this way, let's say North Korea, we're going to blow it out of there before it even reaches the land. So it's going to be a really good show in the air, but it will be really hard for a nuclear warhead to hit our land. Not only that, the Coast Guard is heavily ready and protected 24/7, no matter what, you know. Yeah. So.
And so let's talk about here in our country. There's been a lot of gun violence that has been going on. What would be your thoughts on that?
Well, first, it's a tragedy, you know, of course, that any of this occurs or takes place. I'm pro gun, you know. I feel there should be a better way of, because how no kid is gonna just go and buy a gun, or older people could, but there's got to be more backgrounds, or there's got to be some type of like investigation for each person, like I did when I bought my weapons, but still, no one can control anybody. It's gonna happen regardless. Unfortunately, if it does happen that way, which is very unfortunate. But no one, I can't control you and you can't control me. And, if I'm mad and you're mad and we have guns, we might shoot it out, hopefully we don't. And hopefully we don't have guns when we're both mad at each other. But we gotta abide by the laws. And then, like in Texas, for instance, everybody could hold a weapon. Everybody could carry a gun. Here you can't unless you have the proper permit and whatnot. I think it would be good to train teachers to learn how to shoot a gun if they come in a situation like that. Because if I was teaching a class, I would love to have a gun, to just for the protection of my students and of myself and everybody around me. Because no one wants to see any of that happen, and if something happens in that type of situation, a teacher should be able to be ready for anything. Maybe they should pay teachers a lot more money just to do that too. I see like good things could come out of it. I mean, it's not good that these situations are happening, but hopefully they make the best out of it and try to solve it the best way they could.
So to conclude this interview, how do you overall feel about all of your experiences, and what did you get out of it?
Well, the overall experience, it was a life-changing experience. I became a man. I felt like I wasn't a man coming in, but I definitely came out a man, because before I wasn't nearly doing half the stuff I did, or knew the stuff, or trained. The training itself and all that, the experience is just it gives you pride. And it gives you it makes you feel good. It feels like success and proud of serving. When people, I'll wear this hat sometimes and people say thank you for your service. It feels good. I feel good. Like, hey, thank you. It's my honor to serve this country, And no one even knows what I even experienced, And just for people to recognize that is a great feeling, And but definitely it's till today it's like it'll always be, in here, and my battle buddies that I lost, and the people who are still serving the country and risking their lives and giving their lives for our country, for our freedom. It's a great feeling to be in a good country like this.
Well, thank you, Carl.
All right, you're welcome, everybody.